What's funny comedy?
Yo, you not in our lane, so quit acting like we rockin' the same. What's funny comedy podcast? Are you not entertained? It's time to man up. My live people, put your hands up. From improvisations to stand up, we band up. These haters overheated. We going undefeated. Sit downs and live interviews is what the culture needed. A new monopoly for black comedy.
Welcome back to the What's Funny Today show. I'm your host, Mila Marshall, and I have to start off by saying thank you so much for the love and support on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, for following us and hitting subscribe and interacting with our talent. We definitely appreciate you. Keep that up. Share us. We love hearing from comedians from around the nation, maybe eventually from around the world. So with that, this is the place where it's all things urban comedy on stage, behind the scenes, on tour. We have some amazing guest, and I'm super excited because we have a wonderful one today. Before I introduce her, I have to shout out my boss. He's the one half of the What's Funny Comedy Festival and the brainchild behind this podcast, Mr. Knowledge Beckham.
What up, Mila? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
Doing good.
You
got some claps.
I take it.
He's the most underrated comic outside of Chicago. He's funny as ever. He calls cap when necessary. Comedian Sean Morgan.
Hey, I take that too.
Yeah.
And on set, she's been in the comedy space for a little over, 15 years, I think.
Yeah. Wow.
She has worked with comedians like Kenan Thomas from SNL. Thompson, I'm sorry. She's a mother, she's a wife, and I'm really happy to hear her perspective today on all things comedy. Let's welcome Cherie Buchanan.
Cherie, what up? Appreciate you pulling up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Of course.
So sometimes we have folks who are not comedians on the show, but I feel like I get to bring two producers of comedy together and get that perspective, and we have a comedian sandwich in the middle.
I like that.
Let us know a little bit about your history, how you got into the comedy space, how long you've been here, what keeps you here.
So I fell in love with comedy as a kid. Started off watching SNL as a kid. It was like something my family did all the time. And around the time, my teenage years, I fell in love with Chicago comedy. Because one of my good friends, shout out to Marlon Mitchell. Marlon started inviting me to comedy shows and actually sneaking me into some of the comedy clubs when I was a teenager. Me and some of my friends going to All Jokes Aside, and then Jokes and Notes. Shout out my girl Mary Lindsay. And I really liked it. I liked the vibe. I liked the energy. It made me laugh, and I just like going to comedy shows. So fast forward several years later, I'm a real estate broker by profession, been a real estate broker for 28 years. But right around 2008, 2009, we had that thing called a recession. I had relocated from Chicago to Atlanta, and I had my own real estate firm. And I said, I've got to come up with a hobby or a job. So I thought about it. I said, I'm going to start this YouTube channel, right? This thing called YouTube. Back then it was not big. And I wanted to interview some of my friends because I had a lot of friends who were influential, famous, and so forth. So one of my friends, Kimberly Johnson, she's like, hey, why don't we ask Kenan about coming to SNL? Because she was friends with Kenan Thompson, and I had, met him a couple times at that point. And long story short, he said, yeah. He said, tell Cherie to come on to SNL and interview me. So I was like, oh, I'm there. So we get there, and it was amazing. I mean, just getting off the elevator, Studio 8H, it was everything I thought it would be. All the celebrities on the wall, fast moving, everything. And I had an interview with Kenan, still on social media right now. And while I was there, I met one of my favorite comedians and actors. It was Robin Williams. And when I saw him, I was like, oh, my God, you're Robin Williams. And he said, oh, my God, who are you? And I was like,
Hilarious.
I love this story because it's so true. And I was like, oh, I'm Kenan's friend, and we're about to, because at this point, Kenan and I had talked about it. I said, Kenan, listen, coming here was amazing. I had dinner with Robert De Niro that night. He's still my Facebook picture, me and Robert De Niro. Not my husband, but he understands. But it was just so amazing. So by the end of that night, when I told Kenan, I said, listen, I'm not a comedian, I'm not an actor, but I'm a businesswoman. I think that if we could bring other stand-up comedians to this studio, it would be game-changing for them. I said, not saying that they might get on the show, but just to experience this type of energy around this level of talent, these big stars, just to be a part of it. He's like, I love it. How do we do that? And I said, well, why don't we do showcases? We do showcases across the country. We find the best ones and we bring them here. So when I saw Robin Williams, he asked me what was I doing there. And I had just talked to Kenan about it. We had just said we were going to do it. And when I told Robin, he was like, I'm in. I was like, what? He's like, I love that. He said, doesn't seem like you're going to make much money. But he said, but I think it would be amazing to bring stand-up comics here to SNL and let them experience this. He's like, here's my agent's card. He wrote his number on the back. He's like, let's talk. When are you guys trying to get started? I was like, I don't know. We just started. Went up to told Kenan. He's like, Robin's amazing. Oh, isn't he the best thing ever? I'm like, yes. We took a picture together. It was just great. So we thought we were going to work with Robin Williams to do this, and never happened. And that also triggered something with me and Kenan. Like, we've got to do this. We've got to do this now. Because comedians and are great people in my eyes. And I don't know a lot of people that want to get up in front of a crowd all the time and make you laugh, not even knowing that they might be crying inside.
Right.
And like I said, from there, that was 2009, December 2009. And the next year we started doing the showcases, and then we just kept them going.
Now, before we started rolling the cameras, you said something that you do not like being called a promoter, and Knowledge, you agree. Talk to me a little bit about what's the tension between us, mistaking those two words with you all.
I was just going to say, I think I told you, I joked that I'm not good at promoting. Like, you have to have a certain personality to promote, right? You have a certain personality. Obviously, the goal is to get people in the room. And
this energy doesn't get people in the room?
It don't. It doesn't get people. Are you sure? Exactly. So, but at the end of the day as well, I think promoters and producers can work together. Producers just really, I think they're really locked in on the show, right? You can see promoters who have a lot of people in the seat, but you can kind of see that maybe that attention and detail to the show wasn't as much because it was really more about getting asses in the seat because that's what's going to put money in your pocket. Producers oftentimes are more focused on the talent, where the talent goes in the lineup, does the show start on time, when does it end? A lot of other things that a promoter is necessarily concerned with. You get a promoter / producer who does both, that's great. I just don't really claim the producer piece because I'm just not.
You mean the promoter piece?
Yeah, I mean,
promoter piece, yeah.
At the end of the day, you make the movie and the commercials advertise them. So that's like the dynamic.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And I agree with that too. And I say producer too because, again, I'm also looking, I do a lot of, just like you, talent cultivation too. So, promoters, again, they're just like a show. They're, hey, come show up one time, get on stage. We do Zoom meetings with the comedians. We talk to them before the show. We let them know the expectations. I have a communications coordinator. That's her title. Lindsay Jackson, Mary Lindsay's daughter, who's been with me 8 years. And one of the things she does is not just answer the emails and the questions, but make sure that everyone is receiving the emails with all the detailed information, all of the bullet points. We even do things like we put together actual text messages and emails for them to copy, paste, and send out to people. Just because it's like, no excuses. You can post this on social media. Here's the caption. Make sure you copy, paste, and post this caption, tagging these people using these hashtags. Not just because it'll promote our show, but it'll get you seen better. So like I said, we have a lot of meetings and workshops and different things with comedians that help them further their career. And they use that on other people's shows and helps the promoters.
Right.
But yeah.
So I have a question. Thank you. I have a question for you, Sean. Let's say there's 2 showcases on the same day. You have Cherie's and you have Knowledge's. Same money, same, close to where it is that you can get to. What are some factors that go into you choosing to work on one show or another?
I think at that point it's about personal relationships, right?
Okay.
So because if they both do great business, then I can't go by that. So I have to go by, I call Knowledge when I, got regular people shit going on as to where I don't have the same kind of conversations. So I would probably lean more toward both relationships being here than the one relationship being there, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. What advice would you give to a new comic, when they find themselves in that position of like competing showcases, and maybe you have favorable relationships with both of those producers?
Well, I think this gonna sound super fucking pretentious, but I'm on a different type of, like, you know what I mean? So Knowledge might have a production that not going nowhere, but I still might pick him, and she might have one going to Saturday Night Live. But if I've already been to Saturday Night Live, then I'm still gonna go over here with him. But it might be somebody who's never been there, so that they need to focus on what they feel like can get them in a better position to win or get to that bag. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, it's not personal. But when you ask me, I'm kind of an anomaly. Like we had this conversation the other day. Because I was like, well, what do you call a person that most people don't know, but most famous people know? Like, what am I? Do you know what I mean? And I'm not a star, but stars know me, but regular people don't. It's an anomaly. Like, everything about my career is an anomaly. So if you asking me, it's going to be a different answer than somebody else, because I've done shit that, you know, a lot of people haven't got to do yet.
Fair. I don't think that's pretentious at all, Sean.
Cherie is I think I asked this on the last podcast, is we had Ray Lambert on here, right? Founder of All Jokes Aside. Is comedy good business? You've been in the business now 15, 16 years. Would you say it's a good business to be in?
Which part of it?
The fact that you've decided to get in there and not be on the in front of the mic side, but behind the scenes.
You know, it can be. I don't think you should get into the comedy business because you want to make a lot of money.
Got it.
Period. Now, if you're passionate about it and you can sit there and just watch comedy all the time, and it's fun for you, then it's good business, because I don't always judge everything by the financial gain, which is why I'm still a real estate broker and do international luxury real estate, because that's what pays me. And I like it a lot. But I could sit and watch, just perfect example, when I did the festival in Toronto. 5 shows, 5 days, 10 shows, 20 comedians per show. 200 comedians in 5 days that we watched perform. And I was fine, and I was absolutely fine with that. I didn't make the money that people probably thought I did, but I found some good talent and made good connections, and I was happy. It made me feel good. So again, is it good business? It's good business if you like what feels good to you. Okay. It might not be good business if you, like I said, again, if you're just looking at it to make money, because sometimes you make no money. Some shows don't do well. Other shows do well, and basically it balances out.
When working with talent on your showcases, is that something that you kind of help them understand? Like, do you have people that believe, like, this is going to be my big break, and if it doesn't happen, you know, it kind of takes a mental toll on that comedian?
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because when it comes to our showcases, there are quite a few comedians that were like, oh, I did that showcase, it didn't do anything for my career. And because they think they're going to get on our showcase, do 5 or 10 minutes, and then they're going to go straight to the top. You know, that's crazy to think that that's going to happen. But I don't want to kill anyone's dreams, so I don't tell them, don't get into this. If you think you're going to make money, you're not going to make money, because, you know, a lot of comedians do well and they do make money. And if they structure things correctly, even if they're making $50 a show, they do 20 shows a week. That's 1,000 shows, you know. So I don't tell them that. But what I do say, and I just had to tell someone this yesterday who said they wanted to sign with me with management, and they were like, yeah, I would love to sign with you because, you know, I know you can take me to the top and I'm ready to make some money. I said, oh no, don't sign with me then, because that's not what I'm promising. That's not what I'm guaranteeing or anything. You know, so to answer your question, I don't try to tell comedians what they can or can't do or how much money they can or can't make, but I'm big with under promising and over delivering. Okay. So personally, I'll tell them, don't get on my showcase if you think you're going to make money or you think you're going to get paid a lot to do our showcases, because there's usually 10 or 15 comedians there and everybody can't make $50, and there's $50 being made, you know?
Fair.
So talk to me about the business. So you told me that, so I understand exactly what your business is. So you have the Kenan Presents, which is your partnership with Kenan.
We actually just changed that in March. Actually, we've transitioned in April. So for the last couple of years, Kenan and I had talked about taking his name and his face off, because for 15 years he lent his name, his face, and everything to these flyers with these up and coming comedians, which is amazing. I love you, Frank. Kenan's amazing. But he did that to help them elevate themselves.
Right.
And after a while, it just wasn't, we weren't always getting quality comedians that were doing our first round showcases. So they started, and they were still taking that and going to clubs and say, hey, I'm one of Kenan's comedians. I mean, no, you're not. You're just someone who did a showcase.
Right.
So long story short, we pondered on it for about a year. And then in April, we decided to change everything because we also have our brand 360 Comedy, which we have been growing around the same amount of time for about 10 years or more. So we changed it to 360 Comedy Network, took Kenan Presents off of all of the flyers and the shows and his name, but he still supports all of this. And as we start doing larger shows and things of that nature, arenas and so forth, we'll add Kenan back to it, Kenan Presents. So I just want to be clear now, it's all under 360 Comedy Network.
Got it. So you have, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to, since we on the subject of this, it's just right to bring it out. So, as a producer, I've been your friend for a long time. I've been your friend for a long time.
Yep.
And we have this thing between comedians and producers and promoters, and I'm always the middle, right? So, like example, we had a comedy meeting about the promoters. There was a promoter, he'll remain nameless. And they was like, he's making $30,000 a show. And so all the comedians got, and they had a meeting. And, so I come to the meeting to see what the fuck they talking about. And they're like, well, he making $30,000 and he offered me $100. I was like, what do you normally make a show? And they was like, $100. I was like, what the fuck are you upset at?
Exactly.
Like, so I'm always in the middle. So I hear both sides. I hear the gripes of promoters because I have promoter and producer friends, and I also have comedians who I hear their side. So when it comes to, like you said, the Kenan thing, there have been people, especially comedians that I know, that have made a gripe like, well, we never went to New York, or we were supposed to go to New York, or whatever. So, I mean, on behalf of that, like to kind of clear that air, like what do you say to those people? What kind of happened? You know what I mean? Like I'm legit asking, so now you can put it out there yourself, like, hey, this is what happened, this is what it is, or it could be cap, motherfucker, could be lying. You know what I'm saying?
Cap. But they're lying. Anyone who was supposed to go to SNL has been to SNL. I am the only person that I know of, and I'm pretty sure that is not an SNL cast member. And I've probably taken more comedians to SNL than any other cast members. And I'm saying taking them because Kenan, of course, we're bringing them. He's there. I'm taking them. Everyone who was supposed to go to SNL has gone there. Now, some people win our showcases, and they think just because they won a showcase in Chicago or in Atlanta, they're going straight to SNL. There's no way we can do that. Our database is 5,700 comedians in our database that have literally signed up to do our showcases over the years. And again, it's cap. I've got a lot, and I've had other comedians that will send me names and you guys snitch on each other. They will send me names, screenshots, and everything and say, this person's over here talking crazy. They said that you were supposed to take them to SNL. And they're like, but they know that this person ain't funny at all. And this person will say, I killed it. They promised me. And they're like, no, that's not the truth. So like I said, I'm just going to say this. A lot of comedians think they're funnier than they are. They think.
Now, Sean says it is a problem, though. I just want him to repeat it so we can clip it in.
A lot of comedians really think they're funny, and they're really not. And they really think they're bigger than they are. They really think that you're supposed to just hand things to them. And I'm not going to ever do that because, again, and I have some comedians that I really enjoy working with that aren't even as funny as some of the other comedians I work with, but I feel like those people are going to go further than the other people because of their personality and their drive, and even being humble a little bit helps you move along.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can honor that.
But that's cap, Sean. If they're telling you that, and if anybody, we don't owe anybody anything. If anybody's saying they owe me money, they owe me a trip to SNL, they owe me this, or, I did their showcase and it didn't take my career further. Well, what did the showcase you did the day before do for your career? Right. What did the showcase you did 20 years
people
do for your career?
When it comes to comedians, right, I think that a big problem, and I see it, is they like to count people money. They like to try to do certain shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when it comes to certain things, you'll have people like, I won't mention any names because it's not the point of mentioning names. But there are people who comedians right now be like, oh, well, they do showcases because they get to the bag. They ain't got to pay nigga shit, and then nothing ever comes about this shit, and it's all like a big ass, basically like a scam. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, if I come out and support you, it's because I come out and I support you because we're good. The same way as I come out and I support Knowledge, the same as I go out and I support Leon Rogers on Wednesday. He don't pay motherfuckers either. You know what I mean? So it's really based on your relationship with the people. But even in regards to that, like if you have people like, oh, this shit, these motherfuckers bugging, they ain't, they just bringing niggas out. Like, what do you say to those people?
Well, the thing with me is there's always a pot of gold at the end of the tunnel with my showcases, and you know that. You're either going to go to SNL, or you might perform in Chicago, and next thing you know, you're on our monthly show at Flappers, or you're at our show at Kimmel's, or you're in Atlanta Comedy Theater. Right now, I'm paying comedians to do shows at City Winery. I'm paying comedians to do shows at a casino where they don't even have to promote and don't even have to do it. I'm flying them in, putting them in hotels, all of that. I've had comedians who I thought were really funny, and I pay them and go let them host other showcases across the country, and I fly them there to do that. People know that we're doing all of this, but no, you're not going to get paid just on a regular showcase. Now, my host gets paid, and if I bring someone in to headline or close out the show, they get paid. But again, that's going to get you to another level. That's, and I hear people say that, oh, everybody's talking about opportunities. We're solid. Like, we know the opportunities we have are some that you probably won't get from many people other than someone like Knowledge. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Bob Sumner's, everyone. There's a lot of really good producers that you want to get in front of. But, when it comes to, as far as people saying something about they feel like they should get paid to do all of our shows, it's just not the show for you. And I've got comedians who are nationally touring comedians who are doing big things and always have, that still come and do our showcases for nothing because they want to be in front of that audience, because we usually have a really great audience.
So, Cherie, I want to ask you a quick question just about, like, are there such things as showcase scams? Like, do people put together showcases where comedians have to pay to get on it? I
mean, I've heard of them. They don't pay to get on our showcases, and I've heard of them. But see, the good thing about me not being being a comedian myself is that I don't get that type of, comedians come and talk to me and oh yeah, this person had this show and this person had that show, and when they try to complain about it, I say, well, don't do the show. And same with mine. If you don't like what we're doing, if you don't think it's for you, then it's probably not.
So, are there any other comedy scams that are going around that maybe?
Let's ask Sean.
I don't know. Sean may know. I think from
I don't really consider. I really don't consider certain things scams per se, right? So when these are the major comedy gripes, right? You'll have a person, and this really happened to me. I did a casino for somebody, right? They offered me, let's just say $200 for the sake of argument. So I did great. So the people that did the casino, they come up to me themselves, right? And so you can kind of tell when there's some sucker shit going on because they don't like you to talk directly to who the fuck doing it, right? So they came directly up to me and they was like, oh, we gotta get you back. You're fucking hilarious. I was like, I can't come back for what I just did it for. And so the lady was like, well, how much did he pay you exactly? And I was like, gave me $200 goddamn dollars. And she was like, well, we give them $1,200 for the just for the headliner alone. Like, so this motherfucker had a $5,000 budget, and he was giving niggas $200. So that be the shit that bothers me. Now, if you a $200 nigga getting $200, that don't bother me. But if you getting $1,200 for a nigga get $1,200, and you giving them 1/6 of the fucking money that you telling these other people, then that's the shit that we typically have problems with. So if I see that kind of shit, then I won't rock with you. But different shit, I mean, if you doing showcases and it's bringing talent or helping people do whatever, I've done showcases here. I've done What's Comedy Fun. So I What's Funny Comedy. I do things if I see fit because I can do that. But I don't necessarily consider that a scam. But there are people who do shit. They give free tickets and jam the door because they say free after 7, and so they keep the line fucked up to 655, and then they start like, so I mean, people do shady shit all the time when it comes to comedy, but I don't think it's a scam. It's a shady business, janky promoters like the movie.
So I think what
too.
you're saying is, and again, this is why I really wanted to have this podcast, is because what you're saying is absolutely correct, but that's no different. She's a realtor, but I work in corporate. CEO and president makes this, and I make some very small number of it, right? Way less than what I produce for the company, but that is really the structure of
any business,
of corporate society. So it doesn't feel great, but the reality is every comedian has the ability to go build a relationship with the person who holds the purse and put that together. Some people don't want to do it. It messes with my funny. Those are all choices.
Yeah, but like I said, like if I know there's a man getting 30 bands for a show, right? He done figured out how to get all these people in here.
Yep.
And you make $200 a show, and he gives you $200 a show.
Yep.
To me, that's not bad business. And that's what people was complaining about.
Absolutely.
They was like, well, this motherfucker making this, so I feel like I should be making this. It's like, listen, bro, if I'm a millionaire and my pipe burst, and the nigga tell me $300, do I give him $6 because I can?
Right.
Wait, you were a poor negotiator.
Yeah, well,
Why
it
didn't you
isn't
ask
even
for
about
more?
negotiating. The game got confused because people confuse skill set with currency, right? If that was the case, joke for joke, and I'll stand on it. Joke for joke, I can name probably 4 niggas that scare me pound for pound, right? As a comedian. So if it was, I can double back on that.
Yeah, please
but
do. Let's not
but
forget.
if it's a few niggas that scare me comedically, right? But I do understand that. Do I sell the tickets I used to during Bad Boys of Comedy? No. Do I sell the tickets that I did during Bill Bellamy? No, I don't. So did I have to take pay cuts in certain things? Yeah. But it's still, I'm still me, thank God. People still honor that.
Right.
But I understand the dynamics of it. It's not about how fucking talented you are, because if that was the case, I'd be a fucking millionaire right now. Because I'm pound for pound one of the funniest niggas out here. So, I'm just saying. So a lot of niggas confuse their skill set and their talent levels with their currency, and it's not. Like, I had to tell a nigga one time, I offered him some money, and he was like, oh man, I can't even fuck with that. I said, okay, let me tell you something. If you come do this show and I say you not going up, how many niggas gonna demand their money back? That's your fucking value. If the show continues and no one gives a fuck, then what I'm paying you is generous. Now, if I lose money because niggas is walking out like, oh man, these motherfuckers said so-and-so here. Now, we talking. But ain't nobody gonna give a fuck if you go up or not, bro. Like, let's keep it 100. So that's my thing. I'm not gonna side with people that think, oh, Cherie is doing a showcase and she got 800 niggas in the audience and she's shorting us money. And I'm not gonna side with just because you doing whatever, you deserve this. Like, that's not how none of this shit works. So, like you said, it's a business.
Yeah, it's a business.
But what I don't like is like, if we agree to something and you short
facts.
Right.
That's
Facts.
when I have the problem.
That's
So,
I'll
like,
lose money. If I promised you $1,000 and I made 200, I'm just -8. You're gonna get your money.
exactly.
Yeah.
So as long as that's happening, that's fine. Because I've had to tell promoters, y'all niggas don't never give us tips and bonuses. But if the crowd ain't what you think it is, y'all motherfucker quick to short us. But I get paid to be here. It's like McDonald's. If I come and we don't sell a single fucking
You still
burger
get
patty, I still get paid for that time that I did when I was working there. It ain't contingent off the fries you sell, nigga.
Right.
Yeah, I just look at, like, when I look at the business, I always look at, like, the health of it is how many people that are not comedians are involved in the space, right? Raymond had a great run with All Jokes Aside. He ain't come back, right? Like, Mary had a great run at All Jokes Aside and Jokes and Notes.
Right.
She kind of can, kind of wipe her hands of it, and that's why I asked you, is it a good business, right? You're in the space. I took a 10-year hiatus, right? Because I took a 10-year hiatus because I remember outriggers and not being a promoter and trying to put people in the seat for names that necessarily don't ring and have people buying tickets. And when it's not love back, because this is not what I have to do. This is what I'm choosing to do because I got love for the cats, I got love for the comedians, but it's not a money maker. And if I know how to make money other places, then there's an opportunity cost. I'm doing this instead of that. And if I could be making money doing that, I really have to question, why am I doing this? And so for me, it was easy to fall back because sometimes the creator, this festival is a choice, but the whole goal is to try to get more than just the working class in the audience so that the game can be changed.
Right.
But if somebody from Hulu sees somebody at the festival, there's absolutely no guarantee. And let's say they take off, they're probably not coming back. I'm probably not getting a discount, but they won't necessarily appreciate the summer I'm missing to put this together, because you feel like, yo, I'm funny. You feel like I went, but you really ain't gonna give me for all the sacrifice, the money, and I could not do it. And if I did not do it, there's no festival.
Right.
And so, but there's people about not being on, and man, how do I get on? We had a submission process.
Right.
You decided not to go through the submission process. I've had multiple calls this week. I'm like, I'm going to go through the submission process first. People actually took 5 minutes to actually go ahead online, submit for the festival. If we need 50 comedians and I find 41 there, because I need to make sure that process is authentic.
That's right.
Right.
Now I got
And
9
fair.
people from people who, Marlon and everybody.
People who thought they were too good
It's like
to go
the
through the
OGs,
process.
but now I got to try to fit 50 of y'all who dope into 9 slots. And when you don't fit in, once again, I get shade. And so sometimes I say to Ray, sometimes you run people that have your best interest out of the business. And that's what always I'm concerned about with performers and producers / promoters is we have to figure that out, specifically for folks that don't live and die by comedy, because if they leave a la Mary, like if you look at it, bro, and the way that I see it is she changed the whole landscape of comedy in Chicago. Like there was never this many black comics up north.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
there's so many now, because now you don't have that, that industry that Mary created out south. So it impacts you when folks leave. And so I just figured like it's on both of us, right? Meaning the comedian, producer, promoter, to kind of figure it out if we want to, because you can look at a couple of those comedy festivals, although many of us are up there performing now, I don't see them on festivals still.
Right.
Well,
Or,
let me-
or
let me say-
owning a festival
Go
either.
ahead. Go ahead.
And I want to say something in regards to the business and what you said about running people away.
Yeah.
And again, shout out to Mary, because after Mary closed Jokes and Notes, she came and worked with me and Kenan for about
Yes.
5 years, touring all over the country. And we found some really good talent. One of them, his name is Matt Friend. Right now, Matt Friend is one of People's Magazine's sexiest men of the year. He's got podcasts. He's doing, acting. He's a big deal. And when we met this young man, he was 20 years old at Gotham in New York. Me, Mary Lindsay, and Adrian Lopez, Adrian, who's a producer of the Tamron Hall show, we were there for SNL with Kenan, and we went out and said, you know what, let's just hit some comedy clubs for a couple of days. We discovered Matt. We thought he was funny. We put him on our showcase at Caroline's that we used to do every year. And after that, he's like, Cherie, any shows you're doing, I want to be a part of it. He was a 20-year-old student, and his mom was like, wherever he needs to be, he'll be there. So he started every showcase we had. We just put him on it. Next thing you know, he was on the Today Show. He's like, hey, can I mention you and Kenan on there? He did, and he is one of the biggest things happening right now. He just did something with Jamie Foxx, Barack Obama. Look him up, Matt Friend. I'm just giving that example because even after Mary left Jokes and Notes and she came and started working with us, she loved what we were doing. And again, shout out to Mary, because she really taught me the comedy business.
Yeah.
When Marlon Mitchell introduced me to Mary, she only knew me from coming to the shows, and I was always, even when she would be mean and tell me I couldn't go in right now and stuff, I would be like, okay, no problem, yes. And
Mary was above us.
she did
Let
not
anybody have
play,
it.
but I never went up against her.
Right.
And then when I started doing the showcases, Jokes and Notes was one of the first places I did the showcases, and she would be on me. You better be here. If your show starts at 7, you better be here at 5. Your comedians better be here, and this and that. She told me I was too nice and yada yada. Well, after we started touring together and looking for comedians every year, I learned more. She softened up and she made me tougher. She said, because see, I don't have to be tough anymore.
Right.
You can be the bad guy now, But that is true about running people away, because she did feel a sense of relief that she wasn't responsible for so many comedians. And when we do the showcases, even though some people, we like you guys and, we become cool, just like you go to the next club, we're on to the next club and to the next comedians. And the thing of comedians putting so much pressure on us as producers, you know, and expecting so much more than they expect from other promoters, like, it's weird. And I'm like, listen, we're not going to be able to continue the shows with just the same group of comedians. No one wants to promote now. And let's talk about the comedy business as it is today in 2025. It is a lot different. Oh my gosh, there's a lot less people in the audience unless the comedians help. Now, that term bringer shows, I want to talk about that too.
Cherie, let me jump in here.
Sorry,
because I do have some other questions for you that I want to, and also, this is the most knowledge has ever talked on any of the shows.
Producer piece.
Nice to see him have a buddy to volley the conversation with.
Some fast knowledge. Go ahead.
Right. I'm glad you back.
There have been some conversations about the difference between comedians that do stand-up versus comedians that are online. Mm-hmm. So as someone that's a producer of Showcase, cultivating talent, looking for talent, how do you look for comedians? Is it balanced? Is it the stage is the real test, or is the digital space where it's at?
So let me just tell you, I never go online to look for comedians.
You say never?
Never go. First of all, I don't look for comedians either.
Okay.
So let me just say that. Most of the time, they see us online, our showcases, and they sign up.
Okay.
But I even when I'm looking for someone, let's say, to host a show or to be a headliner in a certain city, I don't necessarily go and just look for how many followers they have on social media. But it impresses the venues a lot of the times if someone does have a social media presence. The good thing about now in 2025, and I tell a lot of comedians this, to us it doesn't matter if you have 1 million followers or 1,000 followers. You still want to be engaging. You still want to post a lot and so forth. But when we're looking for talent, again, they have to go through the channels for us. I don't look at your reels you send us or something you did at a show 10 years ago and say, oh yeah, they're funny, let's get on stage. I really need to see you. Mm-hmm. Or if someone like Sean Morgan or Knowledge and Sean have referred comedians to me for my showcase, I trust their judgment. But I still need them to get on one show before I'm going to take them to SNL or take them across the country with us, right? Now, if they are talented on stage and they have a following, wow, you're checking the boxes. Good for you. And I'll give you one example. One of the comedians who's going to do your showcase, Tanisha Wilson, and she is the T. Millions of followers on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all of that. I didn't know who she was. She came and did a showcase with us at Atlanta Comedy Theater, did a 5-minute set. I didn't even look at the form she filled out to do our showcase. I didn't know. She got up there and I was like, oh, she's funny. I like her. And she had a lot of people rooting for her. And one of the other comedians was like, she's a big deal. She's got a lot of followers. And I was like, oh, cool. But she did good. She signed up the regular way again and did another showcase with us a few weeks later. 5 minutes on stage again. Now she's got my attention because she did 5 minutes that she didn't do the day before. Then I finally went to her page and I was in tears. I was like, oh my gosh, she's hilarious too. So that worked out. But guess what? Had she walked through the door and just said, hey, I've got millions of followers, put me on your biggest shows now, it would have still never worked. Because I need to see that you're funny on stage. And I'm not shading anybody that's funny on social media, because if you are funny on social media, keep doing it. I love it. It's hilarious. If it transfers to funny on stage, keep doing it. I love it. Hilarious. If it doesn't, then it's, you won't go further with us on stage any further than someone who, just because you got a lot of followers, we're not going to just blow you up like that,
Right. Sean, how are you feeling about your social media these days? Are you finding like being more active online is easy for you? Or are you like, nah?
Nah, I hate it. Like, I hate it because...
Top 3 things you hate about it.
So I get followers now because, this show, but the fucking phone calls I get, you know what I mean? And that rhetoric, it makes it interesting, to say the least. You know what I'm saying? So
is that your PC response? Your politically correct response?
No, I mean,
sounds like it.
I've gotten phone calls and different stuff like that. My thing is, I'm like Derrick Rose, right? I just want to hoop. I don't really give a fuck about the hoopla or what you call it, and people don't understand that that's part of why I don't do it. That's part of why I don't care about that shit. Like, I used to be a popular nigga and whatever. So this shit, I don't give a fuck about that stuff at 50. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people need a certain level of validation. You clearly have to, because you need this shit. And it's cool, you get to the money and blah, 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 blah. But a lot of these people, in my opinion, it defines them. And that's why I don't fuck with it. It's why Cat fought so hard to shake the Money Mike moniker and shit like that. Like, it's because he don't give a fuck about that stuff. He still don't post on social media, but he has a presence, but he's not on that shit. Like, I feel like and a couple of influencers, they got mad at me. So let me say this for all the influencers who misconceive what I'm saying. If you are an influencer, and you popular on the internet, no, I'm not jealous, because I've heard that a lot. Niggas is mad. The old niggas is bitter because we get into the bag. No, that has nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with it. I'm not jealous. I probably fuck the same people you do with less money and no notoriety. So therefore, I have no reason to be upset at you or be, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need this shit. You clearly need this shit. But this is my thing with influencers. If you're an influencer, we're not jealous. We're not whatever. We're just saying respect the craft, right? If you got 1 million followers and you want to jump into comedy, then jump into comedy and be a better comedian. Don't just jump into comedy because you're trying to fuck people. Don't just jump into comedy because you get in the bag. Because, and I said this to one of the influencers who called me on some bullshit, and I was like, listen, let's say, and me and Knowledge, we had the same talk. Let's say the NBA said, you know what? Fuck going to high schools and drafting people and going to colleges. Let's just see who can hit a layup on TikTok. This nigga hit a layup. He got 5 million followers. Let's sign this nigga to the Bulls. Now you got a whole league of these motherfuckers that can't dunk, can't shoot free throws.
Oh my goodness.
This nigga just hit one layup. Right? We don't even know how many takes it took for this nigga to hit this layup.
Edited.
Yeah, we don't know what the fuck it took for this layup to happen, but it happened. And the NBA say, you know what? This is the league that we're gonna have. That's the problem that the OGs are having with it, is you're not respecting the craft. I don't give a fuck if you get
too much
tired.
comparison though, because I'm gonna say something. I love watching the comedians, the social media comedians. I think they are very talented, very creative. I know they're very talented. They're very creative. They are great at what they do. And what you said is true. That's not your lane. That's their lane.
Yeah,
and I think that
and I respect that.
And some comedians who are great at stand-up try their hand at being a social media influencer too. If you're great at both, there's nothing wrong with that either.
And it's not, but it's not to cut you off, but Cap, I have to call Cap, because a lot of these niggas are doing older nigga jokes that don't have social media and just making them into skits.
Oh, wow.
So there's that
So they're great.
aspect.
So would you say they're great entertainers,
Yeah,
great actors,
I mean,
but that doesn't make them comedians? Okay, so here, so this
Is
is
it
my
that same as a music artist remaking a song?
or somebody
Well,
that has a song that's
kinda,
ghostwritten.
but at least if you're a musical artist that rewrite a song, you gotta pay somebody ass cap or
Very
something.
true.
You can't
Very
just
true.
sample niggas.
Because
Yeah.
the business has been
Yeah.
done. But I just look at it wider, and I agree with what you're saying. But at the end of the day, we're podcasting.
Right.
I really didn't go to school for this shit, right? I was new of mine. He
didn't
asked
go to
for
school
bread.
for it
I'm not
either.
a journalist,
Right.
But I got thoughts,
Yeah.
and we have something to talk about.
That's true.
And voila, there's a podcast. So if I'm doing something online, and they allow me to go to a stage, and I can sell some tickets, I could wait 10 years to refine it. But in business, sometimes you just get started.
Yeah.
That's
Right? I'm
true.
get it started, and I will
See
work
how
it
it
out through
goes.
it. And if my fans stay with me, there's a risk, because my fans can leave like you're terrible. Or they might work through it with me, and they can see the growth, but I'm still, checking. I don't even say checking the bag, just building a career.
And once again, you looking at it from an individual standpoint. I look at it as a game and as a craft in total. So if you
Made
do
up of
it,
individuals.
yeah. I mean, so is the
It's an
NBA and
industry.
NFL. They all based off individuals.
Yeah.
But the point that I keep going back to, and yes, I give influencers, social media people their props, because I don't have the brain to sit down and some of the shit I'd be like, damn, I could have did that.
Yeah,
I was just sitting,
facts.
but my brain just doesn't function in that space. You know what I mean? So I'm not taking anything away from them. If you are a great person, you do funny skits and shit like that. Like I keep saying it. I love the burn pose. I love the deep breath. I love Jermaine and Pretty Skinny. Like I fuck with these people. Do you understand what I'm saying? If it's funny, it's fucking funny. Right. I'm not hating on funny. But what's getting fucked up in communication is when they jump into the comedy lane and they like it'd be a motherfucker that'll try to give me advice on stand up, and I'm like, nah, you stick to editing.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this shit over here, bro.
But it's an illusion, right?
And if I need to do this shit, then I'm gonna come to you.
Right.
I'm not gonna act like I dominate your shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not my lane.
So we've learned so much from you today. Anything you want to share as final thoughts?
You know, I want to shout out to Knowledge and Real, and I want to tell a story
Appreciate
too.
it.
Real, I got to tell this story because every time I see him, we just crack up. So when Real was still here in Chicago, he used to do my showcases, and you know we would do shows and so forth. He even won our showcase, of course he did. But he used to tell me, he's like, Cherie, you know, I'm gonna be a big deal. I'm gonna be a big star. Like they don't even know I'm gonna be a big star. So when iPads first came out, that's telling you how long it was. I had just gotten an iPad, and I was like, Real, let me just document you this day. I want, you know, because I feel like you're going to blow up soon, and this is when you guys are doing Outriggers. And he's like, okay, you want to go to court with me? And I said, okay. He said, we're taking the train. I'm like, we're going to take the L to court. So we literally got on the train, got on the L. I don't remember where we came from, probably the west side, and I'm from the south side. But I followed him around with my iPad until we went into the court. I put it down, we got out, and I have all of this great footage of him talking big crap about how big he was going to be and so forth. But guess what? I tell him to this day, I believed every minute of it. Like you knew he was going to be a star. Yeah. You always knew where I was going to be a star. So I love him for doing this festival. And Knowledge, you know, you were, I mean, a big part of him being a star. And what you did for him, I know you can do for others. I'm glad that you're back, you know, and doing the festival and pouring back into comedy. I hope they don't push you away again. Yeah. But yeah, I just want to say that for all comedians or anybody out there chasing their dreams, I've seen so many people who had a dream who are now huge, who are doing big things. So I say, you know, don't give up. You know, don't doubt yourself. Don't let anyone. And when it comes to our showcases and what we're doing over here at 360 Comedy, go ahead and let people talk you out of it if you want to. But are those same people going to offer you those same opportunities? Are those same people even pouring into you anything other than negativity to try to keep you from getting where they've never gotten to? So that's one thing I just want to tell anybody out there. If you see a showcase, if you've been doing comedy for a long time and you want to get on one of our shows, and we've had that happen, come and knock all the young comedians out the box, because people will say that, oh, you got these new comedians, and new to them is 5 years, 7 years, but you got all these people, they ain't as funny as me. Well, then come take the show. Right. It's yours for the taking. You know what I mean? You don't have to not take advantage of the opportunities that we're giving. So I would say for anybody that wants to get on our showcases and do things, get on them. But just like you, like 10 years ago, Knowledge, y'all wearing me out. You know, I might pull back from some of the comedy clubs and only do the City Winery or the casinos or international comedy. Because I gotta say this too, we didn't really get into it, but right now you do have to be able to put butts in the seats. Yep. Sorry, you gotta help us. My friends and family and people under my influence, they're not gonna just keep coming out to see just, you know, comedy. They are asking me. They didn't used to ask, but now they'll say, who's on your show? Who you got this time? And I have to really bring the talent. And the reason they still come is because they know that they will come. They will see some talent that they've never seen before, and they will laugh, because I do make sure I have funny people on the shows. But comedians, if you're out there and you're going to do our shows, there are some showcases we might tell you, hey, you got to have 5 people, 10 people. You got to get some ticket sales in order to get on stage, because the whole thing is, too, if you at least have 10 people in the audience and you're not that funny, you got 10 people at least gonna laugh at you. Right. You know, so it helps you too, you know, to get people there. And I'm really just helping them promote themselves more. Yeah.
Well,
you know,
we are so grateful that you came by today, Cherie. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Any final thoughts?
And I love Sean too. You're amazing. Always have been. It's been my boy for 20-something years. You are hands down one of the funniest comedians I have ever seen.
I just can't wait for everybody really.
I want to hear your 4 though. Wait, we ain't letting you get out. Who the 4 you scared of? Remember? Oh yeah. You told me not to forget.
So people who I don't particularly like follow. I don't like going up at the hot sauce. Ooh. his energy is really
Unmatched,
really
yeah.
high.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Shout out.
It's a specific type of comedian. It's like the hot sauce-esque, like the food stamp double D, the high energy, super funny type comedians that give me trouble because my energy is so calm. If they go up in front of me,
Yeah.
it really be problematic sometimes. I mean, I make it through, but it don't be. It's not an easy thing. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
if they got different shows and they like, oh, we gonna put hot sauce a stick or some shit like that. I be like, oh, goddamn, stick finna do the gay walk off, nigga. Like he forgot it's a nigga going up after him, nigga. This nigga doing the go to the parking lot bit. All right, y'all, this over. I do this bitch up. Oh, it's somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, nigga. Somebody else.
All right, so hot sauce.
Yeah, hot sauce stick, double D, K-Dub. Like it's a lot
Yeah.
of heat out here.
Shout out
JJ Williamson.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
JJ's hilarious,
It's
yeah.
people out here, and that's why I get so upset when people make it seem like I'm bitter or I'm angry. I'm angry that Marcus Combs, he just had would have been his wedding anniversary. Like he's
Love
dead, bro.
Marcus.
Like y'all niggas forced Tyler Craig, like y'all block these niggas to where they never got to be. Fuck the financial part of it. They were staples to comedy in general that the world may not even know unless a nigga like me get there or Marlon Mitchell get there and really bring these niggas back to the forefront because they should have been there in the first place. That's the problem, man. People make it more chaotic than it is. Just let some fucking talent get through. Like quit letting niggas die. Downtown Tony Brown. Nigga didn't repeat a joke for 20 years on a Friday. Do you know how crazy that
That's
is?
Right.
crazy.
Every Friday you doing new jokes and you die and nobody know who the fuck you are because people playing with you. So that's my thing.
Thanks, comedian Sean Morgan.
Yeah.
I'm
Knowledge.
playing with him though. I'm sorry.
What's Funny Comedy Festival is
What time is it?
5 weeks and some days out.
Tickets are on
September.
sale right soon.
Tickets on sale Monday, August 11th. So this should, I don't know, I think by the time this drops, that'll be out. Our tickets will be on sale September 14th through the 21st. Once again, man, funny comedians from everywhere. Just actually looked at a comedian today. I really appreciated his joke. I don't know if you saw it at like Chocolate Sundays, but he had the joke about the woman and they were at dinner and she was like, I don't give it up on the first date or whatever. And he went through it, and when the bill came, he like, well, yo, I had some, this and I had that. Like $40, so I'm gonna leave that. And he's like, I don't really pay on the first date. I don't want you to look at me that way that I just paid you. So it's a funny joke. He actually was somebody who submitted, and as I'm going through, I'm like, oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
to
because
see
we do.
somebody-
Our shit kick in instantly and they shit kick in. That's a whole nother
That's
conversation.
another conversation. But so we got a real funny group of comedians, and to everybody's point, try to put it together like putting together an album, right? Like just not all sticks, right? At the end of the day, that's a certain type of comedian, but then you have some that may be a little bit more mainstream, et cetera. But also it's an opportunity for them to get in front of a Chicago audience, which is like that's gold. And so for them coming from whether it's DC, New York, Dallas, to be able to perform in front of our audiences, which are not going to give you any complimentary laughs, it's like you kind of get to see what this long lineage of really funny comedians have come up through. And so I'm just always excited about giving these cats opportunities. And then there's a lot of up and coming Chicago comedians that are getting a look as well. And so I do appreciate kind of putting it together and putting all the pieces in place.
Wonderful. There are announcements of comedians on the festival every single day. So make
Always.
sure you watch our social media to get those names, follow them, get to know their work. Also, not just the comedians coming in from out of town. We want to see you from Milwaukee, from Detroit, from Gary, Indiana. This is something that I think you should be traveling to the city for. Grab you an Airbnb, come for the weekend. It's definitely a week you do not want to miss. And with that, make sure you follow us on all of our social media. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Hold on.
Peace.
I want to say this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got to give Knowledge his props on this because it just, Jesus told me to say this. It's important that people understand that Knowledge is giving a showcase for comedians to thrive in. And it's not, you got all these people bitching, but they did Netflix, right? And you just did a showcase for Content Create Network for fucking free. But then you complain about doing something that is literally trying to benefit you,
Facts.
which is the dumbest shit in the world to me. Like, why? you gonna do free jokes for some motherfuckers that you sign a waiver that basically say if your joke is dope enough, they can build a show off your shit. But that's okay. Yeah. But somebody that's really not trying to gain shit from you, but trying to put comedy on the main stage and just bring people out in appreciation and try to build on the comedy, on the back of comedy, I think that you deserve more props for that, and not it's like you said, it's not a money grab, it's not glamorous, but it's good for the sport. It can help bridge the gaps between the influencers and the comedians, and there's no shady backing off of it. It's not, oh, let's use this nigga shit for something later because they just sat up here and gave us hours of shit to sift through. People say, and I'm gonna say it, they say that this is Mecca, we the best comedians in the world. Do. So it only makes sense that we do some shit that show that we that deal to the world. Right. And it's no shade to no other cities. It's niggas in every city that's monsters. But you know what I mean? We breed niggas here. You know what I mean? There's like it's a factory here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It really like this is. Like the Ford of comedy right here. Like they build niggas here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Build comedy tough.
Yeah, so now I feel like you do deserve your props in that, and it's gonna get where the hell it needs to be. It's just people need to understand this the Mecca, this the best comedians you gonna see, and quit fucking spending $90 to see niggas that ain't from here that ain't even producing the type of shit that being produced here. It just don't make sense.
Anything else?
No, we good.
We good? Producer, anything you wanna? All right, cool.
He's like, cut.